All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the CLC Paint YouTube channel where I'm bringing you landscape painting tutorials straight from my living room. All right. So today we're using a square canvas. This one's 12 by 12 inch. I kind of like the smaller ones because it's easier to experiment, and then later when you want to do a masterpiece, you can do a bigger one. But today we've already got our liquid white up there, which was this little pile that you see at the top of the palette there. And we mixed it on. Last time we didn't use enough liquid white, and so this time I put a little more, maybe a bit more than I did last time. And so I have a feeling that we're going to use the 2-inch brush. We used it, as you can see, to apply the liquid white. Something that helps me with the liquid white is I'll have a light source to where I can see it bouncing off of the canvas to see where it's shiny and wet. And once I have the whole thing shiny, then we're ready to start painting. So got this clean palette over here so we don't get our brush too messy. This is alizarin crimson. Take this, and this has got to be one of my favorite colors. I'm going to grab quite a bit of it, and it was pretty dry, so there may be some chunks. Yeah, see that one there on the brush? So I'm going to tap it, and see it pulled that chunk off there onto the palette, but it kept the color nice and good on the brush. So that way it's even and you don't end up with huge weird streaks going on. But this is going to be a different one. So I'm going to start in the corner doing crisscross strokes. This corner too. And then at the top. And then we'll work our way down towards the center here. I seen a sunset the other day. And I pointed it out. I said, isn't that weird that the sunset is red on the top and blue on the bottom? I said, normally the way that I paint it always is red where the sun would be, glowing out to the blue edges. And so today we're going to do it a little bit differently, and we're going to do what I seen in real life and see if it looks weird on canvas the same way that it did in real life to me. Just bring this down, maybe little circles there, circles, and the harder you push, the more color you'll get off of the brush. Sometimes you gotta hold your easel. And we'll just let this blend. And we'll put a little bit of blue underneath of that. But we're going to need some red down here where the water would be. Where our water is going to be. We know there's going to be water. So, see, not quite enough liquid white down there. See how this is nice and smooth. And then this is kind of, it's tough to say. It's got a bunch of little, it's grainy from the texture of the canvas. So we're going to grab our other brush, a touch of liquid white in it, and we're going to tap it right there where we need it, right? Before we get our brush covered in red, I'm going to grab a little more liquid white and come back over here. Or crimson, sorry, not quite red. We're just going to add in whatever we needed. Use my finger since this canvas isn't tall enough to get to the top of my easel to stay in place. So sometimes I gotta hold it like this. Look at that paint all the way up in the bristles. I like to try to keep it towards the tips because when you wash it, it's easier to wash it out. All right, now we're gonna come back to our red brush because that one's still just white. I hope we have enough liquid white down here now. And then we're gonna blend this. Now see, watch how smooth it gets. See how much smoother compared to the graininess we had a second ago? Still a little graininess, but I'm gonna leave it. That's just fine. It's hard to get the perfect amount of liquid white on there. Get a little more color, a little more of that crimson. And, ooh, gotta be careful if you drop these on the floor. Not good. Maybe I'll just smear it out on the paper towel there. So that way it doesn't drop on the floor. The important part to this water area is straight across. You don't want to go diagonally up because then it'll be very confusing. There we go, nice and smooth. And right here. And just to soften it up, I think we'll add a little more crimson on the corner of the brush and touch up the corners and the top, just to get that color a little more red rather than so much pink. I do like this painting already. Red's my favorite color, so whenever I get a red sky going on. All right, we'll call that good. So we got a red canvas going on, mostly swirly top and a flat bottom with a white space in between. We're gonna do a cloud maybe in there. Now we're gonna want to pull into some blue, but if I do it with this brush, it'll make purple, and that gets really dark really fast. So we'll use our brush that has the white in it. Perfect. That blue's really dry. I just tried to pull through this, and it did that. Let's spread that out a bit more. Hope everybody did good through the snowstorm. That was quite a wild one. My car was snowed in for 2 days. Hopefully I publish this video soon enough if that makes sense. You'll be like, what snowstorm? It's the middle of August. That's funny. All right, wipe your knife off. And touch into the blue. Just touch. Don't mind those background noises. They're just doing some work outside. Sounds like a jackhammer, doesn't it? I think it's snow plow or something like that. Anyways, we got the blue on the brush now. I keep it on one side in case I want to use the other side for something else. The red was on top of the blue. So I'm going to start our blue like right in here. And just back and forth little strokes. Now this is the 1-inch brush. Back and forth. Push hard where you want it to be dark. See that? And then lightly where you want it to be soft. So it blends. See, I'm doing it softly now, so we get a blending. And see, our white side's starting to pick up the color, but it's helping us blend it too. And there we go with that. There we go with that. And see, the contrast of these colors is already starting to look beautiful. And maybe this comes up to there. Some purpley going on, a little lavender. That's all right. And before we get too far, do some circles. I think that kind of softens it all up. Gives it a nice blended look. There we go. See, still blue. The brush hasn't become purple yet. Now we're going to come back to our blue here, tap into it a little bit more. A little bit more. And the amounts that you use is really up to you, but you'll find with practice what you end up getting out of the brush, and then you'll learn how much to use over time. So then instead of the bottom up, we're going to start from the middle and work down. Same technique though, coming straight in. And then we're going to leave it like the sky is, to where the blue controls the center, but then releases and lets go to the bottom. Now this is going to begin to turn lavender because we had the red all the way, or the crimson all the way up there. I'm going to get a little more blue just to make this more distinct, make our water stand out. And just blend it all together. Wow, it's a stunning background to your painting there. And you can see the difference, how bright the light is, how much it shines off of the painting because of the wetness of the canvas. All right, so now we got our little blue brush. And it seems to be doing just fine. I think we'll leave this white area. We want that. And we want this white area too. We'll make some clouds up in there, and then we'll do a cute little mountain. A cute little mountain. All right. Maybe this could be a winter scenery. I don't know, though. I don't have much white. Don't have a much of white. Now, make sure we haven't made a mess of our pants. So next, because we would need white to do a cloud, this is like all the white I got left. Tiny last bit of the huge bottle here. Look, careful, some will even come out of the sides there. Maybe we'll get that on our fan brush, just to start with. And put that white right up in the corner of the palette there. Hopefully that's enough white for us to do a couple nice little clouds, and then highlight our mountain. I'm wanting to do a kind of a sunset scenery to where the trees and stuff are more silhouetted than if they're, you know, bright in the sun. You can see all the highlights and stuff. It'll be a darker silhouette. So we loaded the fan brush, corner of the brush with titanium white thick paint, and we're gonna come up here and do some circles. Just start circling it. And once you run out of paint, turn that so you can see. See how the texture's all here, and then it runs out. Come back before your brush turns the color of the canvas. Reload that white. Reload that white. If you're getting value, smash the like button, consider subscribing, leave me a comment, and let me know what you think. Now, back to the circles. There we go. And maybe that one just comes down here. Yeah, see? If you do it too much in one place, you end up with a cotton ball, like what we almost did accidentally there. But that's fine. Now I want some of this cloud to play from my blue over here, and then just a floater, just a floating along in the sky, and then let the bottom of it blend in with the sky color. See, very nice. Now we've got our brush. I'm going to wipe it onto a paper towel. So that way, get most of the color out of there. We can use that for the next step. Careful that you don't let dry paint dry in your brush. It'll really mess up your bristle shape. If that dried in there for like a day and a half, it would probably not be a very good fan brush anymore. I'll give you an example. That happened to my 2-inch brush. I got some dried stuff going on there, and this brush just doesn't work the same way that it used to. It's disappointing. But I never have used the brush cleaner and conditioner, so maybe that would do it. If somebody out there has used the brush cleaner and conditioner, let me know what you think. Leave it in the comments below. Now, we've got to fluff up these clouds. And I shouldn't, but I'm gonna do it. I should use a clean, dry brush, but I'm gonna use this brush that's got our blue in it. And I'm just gonna do tiny little circles, soft circles at the bottom of our clouds, even these ones. Yeah, see, the blue is coloring the bottom of the cloud. Maybe it'll work out for us. Just tiny little circles, corner of the brush. Tiny little circles on this one. And then we fluff it up. Now my elbow is going to be in the way, so I'm going to try to do it like straight-handed to show you this. But if you push too hard, you'll straight up smear your cloud away. See? Smeared. But what we want to do is softly, just softly, without destroying, fluff it up. Almost just barely tap it. If your paint's really wet, that smear would have went. So the drier the paint at this point, the easier it is. The harder you can touch it and then pull across. Fluff this one. This is why I like to let the paint dry on the palette for maybe a day. If you get a hair off of your brush, just grab it and then put it on paper towel. Now the reason we pull across is because there's all kinds of brush strokes going up through the clouds, and it double softens them. Now, if you get too many brush strokes coming across the clouds, go up over them again, and then as soft as you can, pull across again. And you go back and forth till you achieve your desired result. But I like that. Those are nice looking little cloud actions. And see, our brush is still pretty much what we've been working with since we did the blue earlier. Now, we're going to do a mountain here. Do ourselves a quick mountain. Let's make sure. Sometimes you got to kind of step back and get a look at it. I'm thinking though, we're going to take this blue that was on our dirty palette here, and we're going to add it to our clean palette here. We're going to mix it with almost every bit of the red. We're going to take it and set it right below the red and allow those colors to mix by mixing them. See how it looks black instantly? Actually going to be purple, as you can see the mixing of the two colors there. These white palette papers can help. Otherwise, sometimes you almost have to add white into the color to see what you got there. But see, we're starting to get a purple color. Notice how the blue dominates the crimson. The blue always is much stronger. So I don't know why. Now, clean off the knife as much as possible. Wipe it on a paper towel. Got a little roll of paint by cutting across, just like you see. Should look something like that. But it should stick off the knife just slightly. Now, maybe our mountain. Not very sharp guy. He's just he just hangs out here in the distance. And don't worry about cutting off your clouds, because they're there. I mean, you don't have to cut off anything you don't want to. So make sure the edges of this mountain are nice and distinct and sharp. Maybe add any little peaks where you'd like to. Scrape off the excess paint. And commit. I'm going to let them come down a little further over here. There we go. Wipe that on a paper towel or back on the palette if you want to save any paint that you had. I guess we'll use the same knife. Oh no, almost got ahead of myself there. I've done this before. Make sure that you pull your mountain down. So go back to our blue brush, but this time we're going to use the white side. And this is where you'll know if you have enough liquid white on the canvas. Now I knew by how softly our blues came off there as compared to the graininess we had going down here earlier. But, so without destroying your peaks, push, bend the brush, and pull the mountain the direction. So say this hill is going that way, then pull it that way. If this hill is going down, then you pull it down. But see, my mountains are flatter this time. However deep you want your mountain to be, that's however far you pull it down, see? if I keep going down this way, my mountain will be real tall. But I'm just gonna let that blend off right into the distance right there. Now this side, being on this side of the hill, goes this way. Because if I take this and go that way, we're gonna have a flat one-sided mountain. Just think about a pyramid, like straight down the middle here would be the closest point to us, or the closest point to you. And then down the side would be going away, whoops, wrong way, would be going away from you. Down this side would be going the other direction. The middle goes straight down. However you want to do it though. See, like if you want this side of the mountain to stop right here, then you can pull from right here and go that way. And you can begin to shape your peaks and your valleys. See that? See how this side of the mountain blocks off whatever is back there, right? Or just in the same way, if you want this side of the mountain to go in front of that, same thing. Just make sure you have your alternating back and forth shapes. And very softly, just let that disappear into thin air. Because this mountain's far away. Far, far away. Didn't want too much of a distinct mountain today. Sometimes my mountains are like the biggest thing going on in the painting. Usually, actually, that's the case. As you can see here, the mountains are just... But it's all practice. Now, we're going to take our knife. We're going to take our knife here. Oh, yeah. So we've got our titanium white up here that we were working with. Gonna get a good size roll there. And since the paint's so dry, I can just, I can touch it and it begins to come off in these chunkiness, you know, doesn't smear like wet paint. And I like the snow on my mountains to have all kinds of little holes and breaks and things like that. It looks like lots of rocks and little different valleys and peaks and things like that. Now, maybe that peak is right there. And maybe this one comes down right there. See how when I pulled straight down, it made it look like a steep incline there. If you pull across, like we'll do right here, see how not steep compared to what's above it that looks? Right? Because we want this to be a flatter area down here. Wipe off the knife. Now, do we want to use a shadow color? I think sometimes the shadow color really throws off what's going on. I'll give it a try. Yeah, I guess it looks all right. Just pull in the slightest shadow color. What I did was mixed a little bit of the blue with a little bit of the white, so that way we can have a white-blue mixture, and that'll be our shadow color. I'm gonna use a small side of the knife here to fit in these little pockets. There, we'll do our shadows really, really subtle. I don't want them to be... See, the more you scrape, the more it blends it in with what's on the canvas there. See, it's getting to be too much for me. I'm gonna Put a peak back right there. So wherever you don't like your shadows, you just add a peak in. So like right here, I'm gonna add a little highlight. There we go. See, now our mountains are getting to be too thick, so we're gonna want to cut it off about right here. I think I might just leave that dark. Looks so nice. I'll get a touch of the crimson, touch of the blue, darkness. Put a darkness in there. And now see how much that piece stands out there. I'm gonna come back with our blender brush and blend it. Because what I want is this dark purple to be down here a little bit. And I'll use the purple side of the brush. Oh, almost destroyed my peak there. Careful. See, it almost stands out too much. Too much for me. So I'm going to go back to the white. And this is practice on mountains. Back to the white, and see how lightly I'm holding it? You can almost drop it. Just let the knife do the work for you. The important thing is the angles. Or you can flip it and do it that way. But just watch closely, either me or anybody else that you're learning from, and try to do what they do. See how much paint's on there? Barely any. Nice. Like that. See, that blends with that little darkness now. And we'll have trees. We'll have trees going on and stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I think we'll call that the completion to part 1. And then for part 2, you know, well, we'll do one last step. How about that? One last step. Since this brush is this color, yeah, we're going to tap the bottom of the whites here. Should be a clean brush or a white brush, but I'm going to use this one. Tapped in some purple color. I don't know if I like that because it's not blended. Yeah, use a clean brush. Don't do that. Don't do that. Come back to our blender brush with the blue on it. See, I took away part of our white area, which was nice and bright. And blend that color right in there. All right. Now, clean brush. Tap the bottom of your snow. Soften it up. And then lift, not up over the mountains, but just so it looks like, just so it gives a smooth appearance at the bottom of your snow. Ever so softly. Ever so softly. If you go all the way up, you'll destroy the top of your peaks. There we go. It's got a nice soft at the bottom look. That's probably a good angle there for the right color. Because if we do it this way, it takes all the color out of it. Do it that way, it's too shiny. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I think we'll leave that right now for part 1. And then we'll come back for part 2 of this crimson sky mountain landscape painting, whatever we call it. Yeah, I'm gonna go wash my brushes out. I'll start with this one because it's got the least paint in it. There's another tip for you. Start with the brushes that have the least paint in them. Ooh, this one's got some white too. And don't leave your brushes to dry. That's sometimes not the best idea. But thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. I really hope that you try this. I really hope that you are able to do some beautiful mountains and beautiful clouds. I hope what you come up with is something you're satisfied with enough to make you to want to try again. Full satisfaction, I think, wouldn't be a good thing, because then we wouldn't really want to try again, would we? And that, I think, is a key to life. It's not so much in achieving full satisfaction, but enjoyment in the process. Because that's what it is. It's all process. All right. I'll be back in the future. Smash the like button. Consider subscribing. CLC Paint YouTube channel. Also check out my Etsy shop. I'll leave all kinds of stuff in the description. Support me that way. You can own one of my paintings, and they're really good price. I even got a couple of them, like 40 bucks or something. So check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Love y'all. I'll be back in the future. Ta-da-da.